So let's do a quick review of what we've learned so far. So we're learning CSS and being able to use this new language to style a web page. The browser gets the styles from a variety of places, browser styles that are predefined in each individual browser, user-defined styles, and then 3 different types of author style sheets, and that there's a hierarchy involved. The higher it is on this list, the more precedence that it has. We're going to be using an external style sheet as the authors of these web pages because right now that's the best practice and it keeps things separate, the structure and the style separate, HTML and CSS in their own separate files. We need to connect the style sheet to the HTML, and the way we do that is in the HTML. In fact, in the head section of the HTML, we add a link tag. The style rules look like this. They have a selector and then a series of property value pairs. And here's an example of 2 different ways to write a style block, is on separate lines or all on the same line. And we'll be learning properties and the allowed values. In this module, we learned about color and that changes the text color. And we learned several different ways to write a color value. Sometimes we'll be using vendor prefixes, and that's when it's a new rule, a new style property that isn't broadly used or isn't in the official CSS yet, that each individual browser may add things that we might want to use. And in that case, we'll end up using multiple versions of the same style rule so that it'll be picked up by different browsers. That there's a precedence between style rules, and that precedence is used whenever there are 2 different style rules that are in conflict. When you have style set on an individual property, 2 different versions of the same property on the same element. And when that happens, then it follows the CSS specificity rules and the CSS precedence rules. And the ones that we've learned so far is that a style rule that comes later has precedence, and more specific style rule has precedence. So the more specific it is, the more precedence it has. Some styles are inherited. In fact, many styles are inherited, which means the descendants will get the same style as the ancestor. But if the descendant wants to change it, they can add it. And since they're more specific, then it'll be overridden because it'll have precedence. We saw the developer tools in a browser, what that looks like, and they'll look a little bit different in each different type of browser, but these are really very helpful to be able to use these developer tools in the browser while you're developing. You can test things out and see how they work or find where something's happening that's unexpected. Then we started working right in the CSS file, and at the very top, we saw how to add a character set definition where we define what character set we'll be using. We learned about comments. They can be single line or multiple line, but all of them use the /*/ version of comments. We learned about different color values that can be used in CSS and where we can find out more information about those in W3 schools. So we learned about 2 CSS color properties. Color, which sets the color of the text, and background-color, which is a property that sets the color of the background. And there you go. That's a good start on learning how to use CSS.